congratulations. I really enjoyed your performance. I'm Dr. Light, teacher at Western Washington University. I'm really happy to be here today. I know it's not easy to travel, get out of school, come and do a concert, and then you see these men up there writing and everything and being judged. So you did really well. Congratulations. I just want to offer a couple insights and some ideas about music, and hopefully it'll help you to get a little bit deeper into the pieces. Now, so you played two works. Which is your favorite of the two? Oh, the Celtic dances, Crying Dalmatians. You like that one? The first piece? Who said it? Who's the first piece?
Yeah.
Two people, second piece?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of mixed. That's good. So you play with a lot of really good energy, and that's excellent. I think if you are convincing in your excitement and energy about the piece, it comes across to the audience. Even if it's not perfect, if something's not quite in tune, if you play with spirit and energy, that gets translated to the audience. So things like you can look like you're enjoying the music that you're playing, having fun. And percussionists, you can do a lot to help make a piece seem exciting. And the Celtic dance was very exciting, very energetic. I think the hall is not very good for percussion. You're so far back, and there's curtains, and I didn't hear a lot of sound coming out from the back of the hall. I don't know how loud it felt back there for the Celtic dances. Did it seem loud? Maybe? Kind of? I think you could play more. I think you could play out much more. Because it's such a rhythmic piece, and rhythm is such a big part of it, and the percussion has such a big part to play in that. You can play out quite a bit more. I'm going to spend the time that I have working on the second piece, but I just want to say a few things about the first piece. You did, it was very clear the articulation. I can tell that you spent time working on articulations in the first piece. What notes are slurred? How do you connect the notes? How do you play phrases? How do you play notes that are somewhat detached? And had a really good character. The quality of the articulations was very clear. So I thought that was excellent in the first piece. This, with the percussion section, it traditionally would be bass drum, cymbals, and snare drum, and that just would help the ensemble. So especially this piece is one of the older works with the Claire Grundman. So that's something where you could have the snare drum, and then the cymbal, and then the bass drum. I think that would just help the ensemble a little bit more. So let's look at the Celtic dances. And so I love this. I love your performance of it, and there's so many really great things. So I have to really think about, okay, what can we do to make it better? Or how can I make you think about this music a little bit differently? What does this music sound like? What's the purpose of this music? What generally would it be? Dance, yes. I had to look at the title. It says it right in the title, right? Celtic dances. So dancing, moving. It's about movement and energy. If you imagine people dancing, they're not just standing around the stage. They're moving. There's energy. There's a lot of motion involved in dance. So when we talk about music and sound, there's motion in music and there's motion in sound. Okay, how can that be? I'm not talking about moving in your seat. I'm talking about direction. So when you have a musical line, you can get louder or you can get softer. So that's how you can get the idea of direction. For example, here's a phrase. I'll tell you a little story. I left from Bellingham, Washington this morning at 4:05. The traffic was so terrible, I was late when I arrived. I just barely got here in time to hear the first bit. So I played that phrase with direction. It started the story, I got up at 4:30 this morning, and I left, and I drove, and I was late because of traffic. So when you play a phrase, there's direction. I'm leading somewhere. And I got a little bit louder, but it's not all just about getting louder. It's about having more air going through your instrument, having more excitement, more energy, so you can play these phrases. So there's so many great rhythms in this piece. Let's look at just the third movement, 51. Measure 51 of the third movement. And just while I'm thinking about this, did you play symphony for both pieces or just the Celtic dance?
Just Celtic.
What's your name?
Hunter.
Hunter?
Hunter.
Hunter. Great. You can probably dampen at the end of each movement. The timpani is kind of ringing over. And what ended up coming across the hall was just a high-pitched ring of the drum head. So I think if you can just stop the sound, but just at the very end, I think that would sound a little bit better. All right, so just find this. So what I want to do is just try a little bit of this rhythmic section, starting with just the drum. So this is, when we talk about direction, movement, this is starting kind of soft, very sparse. If you think about texture. Okay, so the texture is fairly sparse here. There's not a lot happening. So we have some instruments that are sustaining, the trumpets and the horns, the brass are sustaining, and we have this rhythm that's happening. So let's hear just the rhythm. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Ba, ba, da. So let's hear just the percussion here at 51. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so I'm hearing, so timpani, that's good. And then percussion 2, is that the vibe? I just have that on my, marimba, okay, got it. And then the bass drum. And then percussion 4, what is that?
A low tom.
A what?
A low tom.
Oh, low tom, okay. I think what would be great is if you could be, can I hear a low tom? Yeah, it's a little bit too ringy. If it were dampened with something like a towel or a business card or something. If you have something that you just put on top of the head, just a, I hate to say wallet, that's just too much, but yeah, it's a little bit too much. Is it towards the edge?
What?
Is it towards the edge of the drum? Play in the center. Yeah, if you play in the center, it'll be much drier. And the timpani, you can play a little bit closer to the center as well. And if you had some like a mute or something, I think just drying out the sounds of the drums would help. Now it says piano, but there's not really that much happening. So in this hall, because the percussion doesn't project very well, you can play that a little bit louder. I heard a little bit of the timpani, but I couldn't really hear any of the floor tom. The other with the floor tom, if it's from a drum set, it's probably going to be too low, and so it's hard for the sound to get projected through. So this is payback. You probably figured out a percussionist, right? So many times we sit back there and everyone works with the players. So we're going to fuss with the percussionists here for a second. Yeah, so you can play a little bit stronger in general. And also the rhythm, da, 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 da. So movement, motion, direction, dancing. Da, 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 da. It's moving to that note. Da, 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 ba, ba, ba. I don't know if you hear, Hunter, how I was phrasing that. I was putting a little bit of an accent at the beginning of each measure. Da 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 bam 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 da. So there's movement, there's direction. So let's try that a little bit louder, and let's try everyone at 51. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, all right. Let's try just the rhythm again. But can you just sing your part? Don't play, just sing it nice and strong. 1, 2, 1, 2. So the way I learn music and the way I have my students, they have to sing every rhythm that they play. And actually here, I can see how let's have everybody. You all got good at rhythm right now, I assume, right? So everybody sing this rhythm that we hear at 51. 1, 2, ready, and. Da 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 da. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So. So play with some energy, movement. It's dance music. It's alive, right? So we have this 6/8 feel, da 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 da, 1, 2, 3. We have this 3/4 that's kind of in between. That's kind of a special rhythm. So you can play that out a little bit more. Emphasize that. Okay. So 51. Everybody sing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Da 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 da. Good, okay, so keep singing. We're going to do it again, but I want the percussions to play. Okay, put a little emphasis on the main beats, the beginning of the downbeats. Okay, and forget that it says piano for now. Let's just play a little bit stronger. 1, 2, 1, 2. Stop singing now. Do you have a harder mallet? I always hated when conductors ask me that question, but do you have something that would have a little more articulation, perhaps? Something with a little more contact. So my point with this is that these sections that are coming up later at 75 and 91 and 99, all of these sections, if the percussion section is nice and healthy, it'll be very easy for all of you to add your parts to it. Okay, if not, that's fine. What you can do, Hunter, is just play with a little bit more, hold on to the mallet, and just dig in a little bit more. Okay, play with more of a staccato sound. But I think if you can dampen, use a little bit harder mallet, that'll help the articulation. Okay, so I want to make sure that I get everyone playing here. So let's jump ahead. Let's try 75. And I'd like to hear trumpets and horns. Now, just sing your part. Trumpets and horns. And you're going to da, 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 da. Emphasize kind of the beginning of each measure. 1, 2, ready, and. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear this, but so each of you is doing a wonderful job individually. Collectively, it's not syncing up quite so well. So use a little more of a da 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 da, a little more articulation in the way that you count it, the way that you sing it. Okay. So 75. Let's add the flutes, piccolo, oboe, bassoons. That little section. Go ahead and sing your little melody thing there at 75. You're right. 75. 1, 2, 1, 2. Good, stop. Excellent. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's try it there at 75 with everyone. Okay, so just energy, excitement, dancing, da 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 da. 75. And percussion. Just play loud. Play loud. One, two, 1, 2. Ensemble, it's kind of muddy in the mid-range. So balance-wise, I'm hearing a lot of, I think it's the tom is so low. And actually says 4 tom here, later on it's frame drum. Yeah, it is. I think this is where the sound of the drums can be a little bit higher pitched. Oh, yeah, sure, that'd work. Yeah, let's try this again at 75. Okay, and let's try something. How about let me hear the sustained notes. So these are in the trombones, tuba, euphonium. Okay, 75. Everyone else just follow your part. 1, 2, 1, and. causing some of this muddiness is that volume is maybe a little too much. Okay, so I would try let's back this off just a tiny bit, and let's see how this sounds. Let's make, so the rhythmic parts, which are at trumpets and horns, play those just a tiny bit more, and then this is the drone. This is kind of like the bagpipe, the drone that's just happening. It's kind of in the background. So let's just play that sustained note a little bit less, and the trumpets, horns a little bit more, and I think percussion. I'm just seeing a lot of parts, and is there parts that aren't being played in this section, or?
Yes.
Because I'm seeing a lot of people skating around. Is there?
Yeah, I think those, but I still found some.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay, I see. All right, 75. Nice and strong percussion, trumpets and horns a little bit more, sustained notes a little bit less. And yeah, let's try this. 1, 2, 1, 2. Sounded a little bit clearer to me. So now, with the direction, with those long notes, maybe when you change notes, you can make that a bigger deal. So when you get to, if you're sustaining on a note, when you change the note, you can play that a little bit more. You know, da, da, and then maybe back off just a little bit. And then also kind of see where the direction of the music is going. You might want to get louder. Get a little bit louder on that sustained note. And that will help. That'll help the musical direction as well. Support what's happening with the full ensemble. Okay, so 75. We're going to keep going this time. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nice. So if you just keep this idea of dancing, movement, and the meter is very important. All of those 6/8 notes in a 6/8 measure are not equal. One is the most important. 4 minutes, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the next most important. And then 2 and 3 and 5 and 6 are kind of not as important. So when you're playing these phrases, if you can emphasize that meter, it'll make everything come to life, right? And that also enhances the dance-like part of this. All right, so here at 115, it says frame drum, and it should be like the Irish boron. I think that's what he wants. Is something. So it's kind of like a high pitch. And did you have something? I couldn't hear anything else but timpani on stage.
We have this.
Okay, yeah, that would work.
Okay.
And it's normally played with a wooden mallet. But anyway, the timpani, it says dim, so diminuendo here. But you can spread that diminuendo out. I think you got softening a little bit too soon. So you can keep it strong for much longer. So just something like, it would be used, if they would use a really small wooden mallet, and they kind of, so something that would be similar to that. Even maybe a drumstick would be fine. All right. And actually, if you can hold it up even, I mean, it's part of playing percussion is a visual. So holding the instruments up, so it could be seen. And I think you could probably play that with just one hand. You know? Yeah, that's it. Because this is a solo. Otherwise, it's kind of like, I was looking at my score, it's like, wait, is someone lost? Did they not come in? You know, it almost sounds like something happened and a whole section dropped out. So this has got to be like a solo for the percussion. Yeah, normally there would be a cross in the back and you'd hold it and it'd be much easier. So okay, let's just try this. Let's set this up. So you have all this energy, all this build, and then 115, it has to keep going. And I would even, you know, it's okay to add things. So 115, if it sounds very empty, you could maybe even add the floor tom back in and copy that. Just, you want the music to sound good, even though it's not written. I think it's okay to add some things there. Okay, so let's back it up. Try 4 before 115. Everyone. And keep that energy going as the percussion starts. 1, 2, 1, 2. Soft, it just adds to that sound. Yeah. And if you try to just make sure that it's all, you know, completely locked together. Let's see. That's the main thing I wanted to do. You sound excellent. The little intonation things, it's hard to fix a lot of the intonation that goes on when it's just a few instruments. One thing you can do as you're practicing individually is maybe practice with a drone. If you have a metronome, you can maybe put on a pitch. You know, if you're doing a B flat major scale, put a B flat on the metronome, and then see how your pitch relates to that B flat. And just how to listen carefully, especially on the longer notes, to see how you're sounding. Usually, there's in this Celtic dance, there's an instrument that has a drone. Like the section we just did, there's the low brass. So if you can listen into that, what that pitch is, and try practicing your part on top of that, you can hear how the two notes fit together. Because we have consonance and dissonance, and that's a little dissonance is sometimes okay, but if it's out of tune, you have the beats. That's not okay. So, and that's a ongoing learning process. Is playing how to play better in tune. So, anyway, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk with you. Congratulations.